On this week's City Skylines 2 o'clock, what's with all the waddling? Keep your daughters away from Matthew Dennis. Is Henry the game's godfather of crime? And why doesn't life have an undo button? All of this with this week's special guest. Well, it was meant to be Larry Skylines this week, but he's feeling a bit under the weather. So we've made a substitution and called in our free-roaming utility player, the game changer himself. It's this Old Gamer.
Oh, very, very good. Yes, hello, BonBonB, and thanks for having me on such a short notice. Pleasure to be here. I understand we did delay this show to make sure it was extra special.
Extra special. We are
tweak the graphics.
Yes, we have got an absolutely packed show this week with absolutely no depth whatsoever. It's like a paddling pool in the middle of summer. Everybody ankle deep in water. This is what we have.
Yep, and you're gonna like it.
Well, what choice have you got? So anyway, this week we had part 11 of 13 of the Dev Diaries, specifically about the citizen simulation and life path, meaning that we now only have the sound and music followed by the cinematic camera and photo Dev Diaries to come. Now, this week's Dev Diary was put back by a full week because, to paraphrase it, I don't have the quote, but to paraphrase, they wanted to showcase the new footage of the citizens. And I have to say, the animations were absolutely worth waiting for all the wrong reasons. What were your opinions when you first saw those animations?
Oh, I think that there must be like a feature in the game about like constipation or something. Maybe there's a slider for that. Green means good to go, and red means apparently you're walking like that. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what. I mean, is it something that's gonna be like, wow, I'm not interested in this anymore? No, but it was interesting. Interesting to say the least.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah. I'm glad that the cinematic camera is coming because I can't wait to do some incredible video editing with some of this stuff.
What a great segue to lead away from what was possibly the low point of all low points, given that they built it up so high and you've gone right to the end of the Dev Diaries and said, oh, cinematic cameras and screenshots. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be so cool. It's going to be so
cool. What
cool.
was the original video supposed to be? Like, what was... this was the second...
it was the one that got moved forward last week. I don't have it in front of me now. But whatever we had last week was supposed to be this week. And whatever was this week, which is the Citizens, went to last week. But yes, they swapped them over just because they wanted to showcase. That's the game progression. Yep. That's the one. Yeah, they wanted to showcase this amazing new footage, and I just chuckle. But anyway, I think we've all had a laugh at that. There's still time for them to get it fixed, and there are definitely some very talented animators out there. Not least, Paradox. Oh, no, not Paradox. Colossal Order. I get you two mixed up. You're like twins separated at birth, right? Yeah, right. So yeah, Colossal Order. Give Sven Berlin a call. He is really good with those animated animations. Animated animations, they're the ones. He's really good with them. Just give him a shout. Get him, even if he does just like 2 or 3. That's a little bit of weight off the back of some of your other talented, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea.
Well, I mean, maybe everybody in Finland walks like that.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible. They need to check the water if that's the case. Something's going on.
To be fair, I get more vibes of California with the with certain
laid back,
certain obesity issues. But anyway, Anyway, so right, on to serious stuff though. On to serious stuff. Now that we've now seen what I'm going to call all of the serious Dev Diaries, because with just the cinematic camera and sound and music to come, we've seen all of the mechanics. What are your impressions of the game, given what we've seen?
Well, I'll say this, if there was anything when you first saw the first trailer for City Skylines 2, if there was anything from that first impression that you were like, oh, that looks good, but not that great, whatever, all the mechanics to me have made the difference up there. And it's definitely the reason that I am super excited about the game. Okay. I know I just had a laugh about it, but like I'm super excited about the mechanics. It's so much more in depth looking, and I'm just so fascinated how all these systems that are connected, and we've seen how they connect. We talked about on previous episodes how they're very connected, and this economy affects everything's down to like how you're transporting goods and all this stuff. And that to me has made up anything a doubt in my mind at all. Now, there's some things that I'm still like curious to see how it just feels in game, like how the maps are and things like that. But the mechanics, I think a big thumbs up from me. What about you?
Oh, me. I mean, I'm looking at it thinking it's definitely set to go to be a good vanilla gameplay. I'm looking at it in terms of gameplay, and I think, again, when we first got Cities Skylines 1, we were all faced with a game that we had to learn the gameplay. And I think with Cities Skylines 2, the step up in gameplay, while still being very familiar, will be huge and well received. There are issues. I would say for me, we've laughed about animations, and there will always be some form of janky animations. We know that, but the zoning on curved roads is painful. And it's a bit disappointing because again, they've been working on this for a few years now. You would have thought maybe a better solution could have been arrived at. I'm not going to talk about hexagons. I'm not even mentioning hexagons. In fact, you will never hear me to say the word hexagon again. But some kind of solution could have been arrived at. What we're being faced with is basically City Skylines 1. Unless, of course, this is all beta footage. Unless, of course, they do have it fixed already. I don't believe for 1 minute it will be.
And we recently saw some, what you would think was not beta footage from live streams and a guy on a crane and stuff like that. So,
no, that was beta footage, but I don't think it's later beta footage. It's not. It's not finished. It's not finished.
But it is later. It is later. So, I mean, we know that everybody has crapped their pants. It doesn't matter early beta or late beta.
And it's also not. It wasn't just people in the crane as well, of course, playing the game. There were, again, I don't know exactly how it was arranged, but I can speculate fairly confidently that there was at least one extra streamer out there, Japanese. I believe he's Japanese. It might be Korean or whatever. I believe he's Japanese. So with over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, it was streaming, and I suspect it was a question of he couldn't get across to Gamescom in Germany, so they said, right, you can play the game for 2 hours like the other guys from your
the comfort
studio.
of your own home.
So I imagine that's what was arranged. There may have been others that I've not seen, but of all the footage I've seen, I think the best one, and again, it's not just because I'm a Civilization fan, but a YouTuber called Potato McWhiskey. If you watched a few of the streams and you've thought none of these are any good, check out his. He still has the problem with the mic. He still has. It's not as bad as some of the others because he's a consummate pro, but for somebody who doesn't play Cities Skylines regularly, his stream was excellent, and I've watched most of it on playback. Again, haven't learned anything from it because we already know most of it from the diaries. But yeah, Potato McWhiskey was, for me, he was at least equal best streamer out there.
He's known as Potato McBourbon in Kentucky, by the way.
Of course he is. Of course he is. Right. Okay. So anyway, that was. We've kind of like we know what we're getting in October now with the game, don't we? Now,
Yeah.
yeah. Now there were some screenshots this week. A couple of them I found quite amusing. First of all, there's the one showing Matthew Dennis's life path. Going to be on the screen now for the viewers. Now, what we know about Matthew Dennis was in March he moved in with Karen Mason, and that chirp got 1.6k likes. So, good number of likes. Later in March, having just moved in with Karen Mason, he broke up with Karen Mason. It's not working, he says. That one got even more. That got 1.9k likes. I think, well, that's a bit harsh on Karen. Poor Karen. Maybe it's because she's a Karen, right?
Yeah.
Then in May, just right, 2 days in game, 2 days, but in May, he says, I finally got married to Diane Fields. What do you mean finally? You've been dating her for 2 months, mate? Or were you waiting to get married? Were you using Karen for somewhere to stay for a few weeks while Diane kicked her old fella out? I don't know what's going on there, but that one got 2.6k likes. And then in August, they started their new job. Right. Now, all seriousness, though, with these life paths, they only start tracking the person that you're looking at once you click follow. So I don't think there's going to be anything in the life path. You'll get their name, their age, i.e. are they an adult, are they a senior, whatever. You'll get those bits and pieces of information, where they're working, but all the bits of information about their life, there won't be anything there until you click follow. So there's no backstory, which leads me to ask, are these Schrodinger's Sims only knowingly come to life when you click on them? What do you think?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like the game has so many things going on that it's like, okay, we're not going to give you, or we're not going to program all this information in unless the user is actually following a certain person. It's interesting to me that they chose adding a Twitter on a game, basically, that, I mean, it feels a lot like the first game in a sense where you can see where they're going, that kind of stuff, but now you're getting their feelings, which is kind of like the city being alive and stuff like that. I don't know. It's interesting, and the order that they put these in, like you said, like with Matthew there, poor guy, he just can't get his stuff together, it seems like.
Yeah, just keep your daughters away from Matthew is what we say.
Right, yeah. I mean, he'll move in with you and then move out and then ask you to marry him. And
well, Matthew wasn't the only one who's interesting. We also saw a little bit of information about Jacqueline Hadley, who was seen jogging home to 24 Woodland Street. They are both happy and wealthy, and by all accounts, a specialist robber, employed by Aino. That's EINO, but Aino. Thanks, Google. Anyway, so it begs the question, who or what is Aino? Now, I have done a little Google search on that as well, and it provides a few answers, starting with Aino is an AI-powered connectivity planning platform that holistically designs and simulates solution architecture for public and private Wi-Fi and cellular networks. Now, I'm pretty sure that they don't work for that as a specialist robber. The second one, though, is Aino is a Finnish or Estonian masculine given name. The name is thought to be a Finnic form of the given name Henry. So, we need to learn more about Henry, the godfather of crime. Pinning him down could just reduce the crime in the city, upping the well-being for thousands and thousands of citizens. How are we going to do this?
oh well, okay, I gotcha. I'm following. That's a good question, and being a robber is not easy work. Okay, I mean, cut
Carry
Jackman
on.
a break here. And I believe in the screenshot, she's exercising. She's just trying to make something with her life. But right now, her specialty lies in burglary.
Oh man, queuing up for a job from Henry. Oh, sorry, Anal. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, where do you want me to rob this week? Well, if you check the info screen, you can see the areas of high crime are no. What? Yeah, find your own work. Anyways, right. So enough about that. Let's get on to something which I know is close to your heart because you very recently released a video, which, fair to say, is doing very well indeed. Very, very well indeed. And you've had a lot of positive feedback about it. But,
Yeah.
and I will stand by this because this has happened to me as well. You've also had some questions. I'm not going to call it negative feedback. You've also had some questions about certain aspects. Would you like to talk to me about that, please?
Oh, not really, but I guess I will. Yeah, the video has done really well, and for a little channel like my own, it's like the equivalent of a larger channel getting 1 million views, I guess. You know, I'm used to like 100 views being like, oh, cool. And you probably, if you watched any of my really old videos, I used to often say like, I'm not doing this for any, I'm not trying to reach any particular number. It's just kind of a hobby, and it still is a hobby, and it takes me a while to make videos and stuff like that. But, I did a ton of research on all the processors and GPUs and all that. And the questions, and I've only had like 3 out of about 400 comments, give or take. And but it did open me up to do further research and kind of right my wrongs and figure out some things. And I'll be having a video to like kind of cover that. It's actually, that's not the theme of the video, but I'm going to have a little bit on it. But just basically a lot to do with verbiage and terminology. And there's portions of the video where I say the bottom line is, and all the stats I still, or not stats, but all of my recommendations I still stand behind. But there was a little confusion with some of the things I said for some viewers. But I've literally responded to, I believe, every single message left on the see, I don't even know what you call this, comments. There we go.
That's
See,
the
that's
word.
the kind of YouTuber I am.
Oh, yes, yeah. If to help him out, if you can write the word comments in the comments, that would help. That would help this old gamer out on his channel. So you know what to do. If you write comments in the comments, that won't help this video at all.
Well,
on.
anyway,
Yeah.
But here's the good news in the situation. Like I said, it didn't really take away. So, I cover a lot of percentages between the power of certain processors and all that. None of that is still accurate. Another thing though that I did, and I use about 6 different websites to get all this information. And one website that I use was called cpu.userbenchmarks.com, or just userbenchmarks.com. And that website, when I started reading a little bit more about it, had some negative press and things over the years, and usually would favor Intel over AMD and stuff like that. So, I'm not going to use them anymore, but the numbers I was using was based off multiple websites. And, so I was kind of fact checking myself. I really was fact checking myself on all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but it's been fun to learn. I've been learning more. Learning is always good, right? We're learning about things. We've learned about how citizens walk on Cities Skylines 2 today.
Yeah.
We've learned a lot, but yeah, it's been overwhelming, man. I think I messaged you and said, it's like, I don't know what to do. I'm not used to this amount of views, but everybody, for the most part, or not for the most part, 99.9% of everybody that's watched the video, that's commented, they didn't say comment, but they did say they enjoyed the video. So I appreciate everybody's support on it and stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, the community is really, really good indeed. But you
They
definitely hit a spot with that video, and I'm pretty sure you'll be working on a follow up for it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it right this
No,
moment,
don't
but
do
it
it.
will answer a lot of questions.
Cool, cool. Right. Well, one question I keep getting asked is, well, not keep. Much like with your comments, probably 3 times. But if keep getting asked this 3 times, I've been asked this. It's about the 81 player collaboration. How are they going to upload their saves? How they're going to share their saves with me? Don't worry. First of all, if the video isn't out already, it's out imminently. I'm currently in the process in the editing, so that will be out very shortly. It'll also showcase the village that I've built for Tiles C3. And getting a little bit of help from Gerard. Gerard, if you're watching this, thank you so much. Gerard's doing a lot of donkey work for me. Didn't ask, but it's very,
Thanks,
very kind.
Gerard.
Yeah, very kind of him to do that for me. So that means I can have more time to do housework, which is absolutely marvelous because my plate is upside down. I don't have a Mrs. Bonbon, so I have to clear up my own mess. And
I don't either.
frankly, I'm a boy. I'm a boy.
Oh,
I know. It's tidy once a week in here for about 5
is that what the
minutes.
B stands for?
Yes, that's exactly what the V stands for. Oh yeah, and of course the other thing still going on my channel is I'm streaming still the last map build for.
It looks awesome.
I'm really pleased with it. It's not so much the look for me actually. It's the more I look at it, the more I see just so many ways of playing it. I think it's going to suit so many different styles of player out there. So yeah, that's coming along. There's still a lot of work for me to do on it, but streaming is actually affecting my subscriber count because there are people ditching and jumping because they don't come to me for the streams. They come for me for the what maps and the tutorials. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say in it. Eh? Anyway, there's still some tiles. There's still some tiles. Let me know in the chat, in the comments, if that's the word, comments, if you want to take part.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So,
yeah. Well, we're down to the last few seconds, so I'm going to say goodbye, ta-ra, and your words of farewell.
goodbye and ta-ra as well. Thanks for listening.
And
watching.
Thanks for hitting that bell and for your comments too. See you very, very soon.
Bye-bye.